He was crowned in life, cheered by millions, and transformed into a god on earth. But even gods have their secrets. What would you do if you discovered that the greatest sports legend in history maintained a second existence, protected by a wall of silence for over 50 years? Today, we won't talk about goals or trophies. We will talk about an investigation that took us from the streets of Brazil to the armored vaults of Switzerland. A mystery involving a hidden heir, a ghost foundation, and a diary that was never meant to be found. Get ready, because the story you know is only the tip of the iceberg. Our investigation begins in 1970, the year the world stopped to watch him triumph. While his national team paraded through the streets, the king was making a calculated move. Records from an old airline reveal a secret trip to Europe just 3 weeks after the World Cup final. No assistance, no cameras, no noise. He landed in Geneva under the name Mr. Nascimento, an ordinary businessman. Witnesses say he carried only a leather briefcase and a look of someone carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. What brought him here at the moment of his greatest glory? Following the trail of this mysterious man, we arrive at a small village nestled in the Swiss Alps, where the snow never fully melts. There, in an isolated property, the king spent entire weeks. Locals remember a man who spoke little, but whose eyes shone as he walked the frozen trails. Why would an icon of sun and warmth seek the isolation of the extreme cold? The house, registered under a shell company, was his private bunker against overwhelming fame. We managed to locate the grandson of the man who looked after that property for 30 years. In an exclusive testimony, he told us about the Pact of Silence. His grandfather was paid monthly to ensure that no photo of whoever entered that house ever left. He remembered that once a year, a child was brought to spend the holidays. A child who had the same sharp features and the same smile that enchanted the world on television. Was that the beginning of a lineage kept in the shadows? Inside that house, under a loose floorboard in the office, our team reconstruct the discovery of a diary with silver covers. These weren't notes about football, they were confessions. In the diary, the king described the anguish of being a public hero and an absent father in his private life. He wrote about how the image of the king prevented the man of flesh and bone from fulfilling his responsibilities. One of the pages, stained by what appeared to be tears, read, "The world loves me, but I cannot love the one I wanted to protect the most." The investigation takes on the tone of a spy movie in the heart of financial Europe, Zurich. Safe deposit box number 442 was recently opened after a 50-year clause expired. Inside, a breathtaking discovery, a collection of letters of love and guilt intended for a European woman the world never knew. Along with the letters, an emerald necklace and a birth certificate with the father's name left blank, but with a handwritten note on the back, "Let him be free, far from my crown." How was this secret funded without anyone noticing? Our analysts discovered a web of offshore companies and tax havens. Sponsorship money was diverted to a foundation that looked after the education and safety of the Swiss heir. Close friends, well-known names in high society, served as directors. They were the guardians of the secret. How far does a friend's loyalty go when faced with such an explosive secret? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. But no secret lasts forever. Recently, immigration documents from the 70s began to disappear from public archives in Switzerland and Brazil. Someone is cleaning up the evidence. We had access to a copy of a testimony from a former airport employee who claims he was paid to destroy the passenger lists of those secret flights. The mystery is no longer just about a son. It is about a protection network that still operates in the shadows. Who is afraid of this truth?
Recently, in a small town on the Austrian border, a man in his 50s appeared with a golden key. He claims the key opens a second vault, where definitive proof lies that the king intended to introduce him to the world before he died, but was prevented by hidden forces within his own organization. He is not looking for fortune, he is looking for the dignity of using the name the world reveres. We are facing a dilemma that divides opinions. On one hand, a man's right to privacy. On the other, the right to historical truth about one of the most important figures in humanity. If the king decided to take this secret to the grave, do we have the right to dig it up? Does the story of an idol belong to him or to the people who consecrated him? At the end of this investigation, we realize that the king's greatest glory was not his 1,000th goal, but his desperate attempt to be human in a world that demanded him to be perfect. The house in Switzerland, the vault in Zurich, and the air in the shadows are proof that behind every legend there is a man with flaws and an immense desire to protect those he loves. The king has left us, but the mystery of his private life will remain as his final dribble, the most difficult of all.